The new Infinite Forbidden set is crazy powerful, and unfortunately, it's going to raise so many strategies to a whole never different height. Konami genuinely needs to do something about this. In this video, I'm going to be talking about what Konami needs to do in order to avoid a huge mistake. Let's go ahead and jump on in. Before me and chat start talking about what needs to happen on the ban list, there's something that needs to happen with your wallet. You need to be spending it on Raven Wing sleeves, big dog. These are easily the premier, the top of the top, the best of the best. The sleeves that you were using before, garbage. These bad puppies, wow. Go ahead and pick up your Raven Wing sleeves on TheCaliEffect.com, as well as your other accessories today. The only sleeves that gets me, girls. Cali about to take my wallet and sleeve. All right, also, before we get into this ban list, we need to talk about what needs to change exactly in Yu-Gi-Oh! There are a lot of people that just spew out things, oh, this needs to be banned, this needs to be banned, and they don't really say why cards need to be banned. As we all know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs huge changes, and if Konami does go about this route with Infinite Forbidden, there's only going to be a bigger issue. And this ban list is not a prediction list in no way, shape, or form. This ban list is something that needs to happen if Konami wants to fix their game going forward and decrease the power levels of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it's getting a little ridiculous. Yu-Gi-Oh! Plays by themselves are being overshadowed by one-card combos. The fact that a player with just one card can make a board with an infinite amount of negates is very disturbing. It's not only because these combos can be done so easily, it's also because these cards generate a ton of advantage, and the other 4 cards in your hand can be either extenders or disruptions for your opponent's one-card combo. It essentially says whoever goes first is almost guaranteed to win, and whoever doesn't play a one-card combo deck is behind the curve. Sounds like you'd welcome Maxi into the list. I am not saying that. One-card combos are fine as long as it doesn't have a high in-board ceiling. Actually, I think we can get behind that. Another thing that I think that is completely problematic is that the best cards in the game to keep Yu-Gi-Oh! In check are almost useless. Take, for example, one of the most powerful cards in the game, the Biru the Primal Being. This card gets disrespected like crazy. In every era of Yu-Gi-Oh! We've had a particular card that has kept the game in check. It has been pretty much a skill check, as you would say. If you extend a little bit too far, you can be punished. But now, because of modern Yu-Gi-Oh!, this skill check card is no longer a skill check card. Every single combo is Nibiru proof, and there's no punishment for overextending. Evenly is good? My brother in Christ, you have not played the Infinite Forbidden format. Troll and Lock as well? No, I'm telling you, Infinite Forbidden, those cards are not good. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has genuinely got to a point where those cards that keep the game in balance are no longer useful. So the only option is to make more cards to keep the game in balance or decrease the power stages of the game. I vote for the latter. Most decks smell the rock and plug their nose, then proceed to cook me. Beansmith is a one-card Appaloosa without a normal summon. So I'm glad you guys are starting to catch on. Another thing is that generic cards are doing way too much, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Strategies are starting to become more useless if they're not the best of the best. I'm not saying that there should be a format where every Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck can compete, though I think that would be really cool. I'm saying that if you're not playing the very best deck, you not playing it all is definitely not the way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! That drives people away from the card game. So how exactly would we construct a ban list to fix those problems? Tenpai will take over if the ban list goes wrong. I think we do need to address that. Cross out Designator and Maxi. All right, guys, 2 of those 3 cards are already banned. This isn't Master Duel. This is Starfrost. Now, among some of you guys' bot comments, there were actually some really good ones that I wholeheartedly agree with. I think that banning Appaloosa, Bow of the Goddess, and IP Masquerena are going to be important at this point in time. And I kind of cry over banning Appaloosa, Bow of the Goddess, because I thought that Appaloosa was a good skill check to Nibiru. There are points in times where you can summon Appaloosa as your 5th summon to allow you to play around Nibiru, making Nibiru not the end-all be-all card. Anytime we have a card that's really powerful and keeps the game in check, it having some counterplay is pretty good. But the problem with that now is that since Fiendsmith can one-card combo into Appaloosa and Yubel can make Appaloosa for pretty much free, then it really becomes kind of bad. We just got to reprint it, so it's going to be banned eventually. This is not a prediction, though. If I were to put it on a prediction list, Warlord, Savage Dragon, and Baron got reprinted in Rarity Collection 1 and got banned. IP and Appaloosa getting banned is not really far-fetched. IP Masquerena also isn't a problematic card in itself, but when you look at the fact that Link monsters have only been getting stronger and the interaction on your opponent's turn has only gotten stronger, generic cards like these do need to be addressed. Personally, to fix the format, I would say these cards get banned not because they're strong, but because Yu-Gi-Oh! Has gotten way too powerful and things have gotten way too simple and easy for these cards to stop interactions. Watch SP Little Knight get hit. Yo, it's gonna get semi-limited like they did in the OCG. Ban more Runic. The deck is corny. I don't like it. Hey, yo! Watch Catapult Turtle. Oh, of course. We have to ban Catapult Turtle. It's the most busted card in existence. But the thing about it is that I don't think that the banning stops here. If we want to make a ban list that is really good and actually fixes the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game, we're gonna have to ban a couple of other cards. A lot of people may say ban the Puppet Lock, but to be honest, the real problem here is Albion. Being able to summon monsters to your opponent's side of the field is the dumbest thing ever, chat. Like, what idiot sat down at the round table and be like,
let's make a monster that summons other monsters to your opponent's field?
It has been clinically proven that that is some of the most toxic things that you can do. I never want to give my opponent anything good. I'm always going to give them something bad or ridiculously busted. Unable to super poly is ass too. Bro, you're right. You're right. You're not wrong. Albion is one of the most busted cards in the game and nobody talks about it enough. The worst thing when you play the game is not playing. And speaking of FTKs, I think we finally banned Blaze Phoenix and Bombardment too. Now, this card has been a part of way too many FTKs. Just recently, there's a Snake Eyes FTK that uses this card, and if you stop it, it just goes regular full combo into Snake Eyes. I don't think that this is the best version of Snake Eyes, but just the fact that Bombardment has been a part of so many FTKs just goes to show that the card is ridiculously busted. Ban the Mayakashi Trap? I don't think we're gonna need to ban the Mayakashi Trap where I'm going. Because in all honesty, the last card that I would put on the ban list is Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal. I absolutely hate that this card has become one of the most ignorant cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! But again, because Konami wants to release new stuff like the Fiendsmith engine, they completely turned this card into a monster. I think if we ban Beatrice, we ban a lot of things. We stop the Nightmare Griffin lock from being able to set cards like Anti-Spell or Rivalry of the Warlords, which justifies its limitation. We also stop the Mayakashi Trap FTK that players are doing right now, and we make Fiendsmith a lot weaker because we not only did we hit Oppo, we also hit Beatrice. So the biggest part about this particular point of the ban list is to minimize the impact of the cards from Infinite Forbidden. We can't control that Konami keeps on making busted Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards at the correct levels, but we can control some of the generic Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards that are overpowering Yu-Gi-Oh! All right, have you guys had a whole bunch of girlfriends that did something to you, right? Or a whole bunch of people or teachers or something that have said something about you in common? At some point in time, we have to be like, damn, there may be something wrong with me before we're like, nah, it's you. You know what I mean? And it's almost the same thing about Beatrice. When we start to look at all of these external problems, we realize that yes, those may be problems in itself. When it's all pointing to one card, you gotta be like, damn. Which is why I would prefer to ban like Gimmick Puppet, Ra's Disciple, and stuff like that. But then Konami would just print a new card that the card can abuse. And it's just like, just get to the problem. Which is why we're having this Blaze Phoenix Bombardment problem. That card has been a problem for decades. It has been a part of multiple FTKs, and Konami refuses to ban it when they can just ban that card. Side rant. Girlfriends know, but I have a collection of slow play warnings. It's like when they banned a bunch of tuners to justify Christian Hockley facts. Exactly. So for limited, we have some really cool cards. Snake Eye Ash, Flame Beurge are all cards that should be hit on the limited list for Snake Eyes. Now, you guys may be scratching your head, but as an experienced Snake Eyes player, I can tell you that these hits hit hard, especially the Flame Beurge to 1. See, the trick to Flame Beurge to 1 is that it doesn't matter until you draw it. Most players have been bringing Flame Beurge down to 1 inside of their deck list, but the biggest problem here is that players still have to respect multiple copies of Flame Beurge. This time around, if we bring Flame Beurge to limited, everyone knows that there's only one copy of the card. So if it's actually stopped, it slows Snake Eyes down tremendously. The Snake Eyes Ash to 1 solves a lot of problems too. It still allows the deck to be able to 1-card combo. You still have original and stuff like that, but it makes it a lot more vulnerable to hand interruptions and makes the deck a little bit slower too. You combine that with Apollousa and IP Masquerena being banned, I think that this is a huge hit to Snake Eyes to bring it down to possibly even a tier 2 Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck. And I'm still not done. Sometimes you really do have to hit a deck hard enough to let it know that it's no longer the best deck in the format and players can start playing other strategies. Hear me out. Limited, Skill Drain, Snake Eyes Ash, Wanted, Flush Fight, Trident, Summon Sorceress. Stop! Bro, you had me on Snake Eyes Ash. The other cards I don't think are necessary. The problem with Skill Drain is that it is a good card. It's just when strategies start to abuse Skill Drain, like sending it to the graveyard to activate their effects, that's when it becomes a broken card. Skill drain, and I will stand by this 10 toes, guys. You guys may hate me in the comment section by this, but skill drain is the most balanced floodgate to ever exist. There's multiple ways to play around it, and it affects both players no matter how you play. I couldn't really find a way to hit Tenpai Dragons because I don't want it to be the dominant one-card combo deck. So limiting the Tenpai Dragon field spell was the best idea. It slows down the deck and also makes the deck a little bit more susceptible to hand interruptions. But that's all I got for my limited. What else would you guys put on here? Get Maxi to 1? My brother, no! Shifter is probably the most skilled banless toucher ever. Branded Fusion. Kashtira Unicorn Limited? Bro, what do you have? Why do you have a problem with Kashtira Unicorn? Are you guys getting beat by Kashtira? You guys know that these limits don't do anything, right? I'm not saying Kashtira is a bad, I'm not gonna lie. I am saying Kashtira isn't a great Yu-Gi-Oh deck. I think that you guys thinking that Fenrir, Unicorn, and Dimensional Shifter should be hit is a good thing. The reason why is because these cards are powerful enough to help you turn the tides of the game if you don't deck build correctly for them. Keep in mind, chat, I said deck build correctly for them. It's almost like saying that players want Nibiru the Primal being banned, because if you don't deck build correctly, you get punished hard. And with that being said, there's a bit of a skill issue that is present inside. We want to address Runic Stun. I think that Runic Stun addresses itself when decks become more diverse because it becomes harder for those decks to defend. How about Semi-Limit Sacred Beast spell card? What do you, Ultron? Oh, that's smart. That's smart. I've been thinking about ways to hit Yubel, and the Sacred Beast Semi-Limit doesn't feel like it does much, but it does force players to deck build slightly different. I also think bringing Rescue Ace Airlifter from limited to semi-limited helps Rescue Ace, especially since we hit all of these Snake Eyes cards, the deck can probably come off the list. I'm also on the fence about it, but semi-limiting Side-Frame Gear Gamma gives you access to be able to stop important monster effects, while also seems like a skill check too. A lot of times when you activate Snake Eyes Ash's effect, Ash Blossom can stop that. But if Side-Frame Gear Gamma was into play, it gives Snake Eyes something to hang on to stay a little bit more competitive. I'm not sure if this is something that we should put in there because I just completely killed the deck, but Gamma could be an answer and also could be something to address the problem. I'm on the fence about it, to be honest. Gamma can come back, no longer a one-card Baron, and I'm not saying this because I have Collector Rare Gammas, chat. I did buy Collector's Rare Gammas like a week before they got banned, though. Now for Unlimited. Again, skill checking Yu-Gi-Oh is a little bit harder than what people think. We have a ton of cards that do a little bit too much, and then we have some cards on the ban list that actually could come off. Originally, I didn't have Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess on this ban list, and to be honest with you, I'm still skeptical. I think that Appaloosa can stay on the ban list, especially if we unlimit these cards. The first one is Lightning Storm. A lot of you guys said earlier that there was a stun problem, and there still could very much be a stun problem, but unlimiting Lightning Storm not only helps you against back row heavy decks in cards like Skill Drain, it also allows you to be able to address those stun elements. And then you guys got it right. The last card would be Pankratops Unlimited. This card is such a good skill check. It's almost baffling that Fenrir is unlimited and Pankratops is semi-limited. Konami, you trying to tell us that Pankratops is stronger than Fenrir? They have Shifter at 3. No reason to have Gamma at 1. He's not wrong. Fenrir, Pank? Exactly, Earl. So why is Pank semi-limited? Pank actually is another skill check in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. It's a monster that can summon itself, address boards, and also be stronger than cards like Appaloosa, which is why I was so hesitant on banning the card in the first place. But ultimately, I think Konami needs to do something like this before the Nationals. If they don't, I'm going to be pretty upset, and you guys are going to hear about it. In this particular Yu-Gi-Oh game, I think we've addressed all of the issues. We have board breaker elements to go against some of the new cards being introduced in the game. We've also taken down the power of some of the strongest cards that are coming out with Infinite Forbidden. So we've covered Konami's tracks. We've even addressed the tier 0 and the one card combo problem. See, the cool thing about it is that this is not an unlimited list. This is an emergency list that we need to fix the game. But I'm curious to know, what do you guys think? If this list would be good enough to fix the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, or there needs to be more cards on or off of it? I didn't address anything coming off the list because, again, this isn't really a prediction list or anything. And to be honest, most cards coming off the list don't do anything. But let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll catch you on the next video.